Once again, I'm very happy we have a young Indian with us, part of the Voice of the Young series. Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Right now, we have with us Bhavya Sood. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Bhavya.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much, sir, for inviting me and giving me this platform. I think it's really commendable the work that you are doing through this medium. So I'll share my journey, the journey I have had so far, and I hope that there is something of value that the listener will derive out from this. So I'll begin from the very start of my life. I'll say when I distinctly remember one time I think I was 4 or 5, and my brother, he taught me how to hold a cricket bat. And I declared that this is the thing that I want to do in my life, right? Like every Indian, uh, I wanted to be a cricketer. I wanted to be the next Rahul Dravid, next Yuvraj Singh, and so on. I didn't act on it. Uh, I think I was around 14 or 15 when I started going to a cricket coaching or an academy. Uh, but there I realized that it wasn't really my cup of tea. Like I liked playing and watching, but I wasn't uh, passionately devoted to it. And in India, you need to be passionately devoted to it. Uh, then unfortunately, I got injured, and that kind of gave me an excuse to actually leave the sport. So that was one. And now I think the second milestone will be when you are deciding what to do. I think in India we have this unique education. Uh, we have this unique idea that you need to select or elect the subjects in grade 10th, which is I think we are very young to decide what we want to do with in life. So at that time, so I come from Solin, which is a small city in Himachal Pradesh. Everyone was of the
Well known for its whiskey.
sorry, yeah,
Well
yeah.
known
So
for its whiskey. When you say small, you should know that whiskey drinkers know about it.
yeah, yeah. So one of the oldest breweries in the world
Yeah,
is
Solar
there.
number one. Right. Okay. So go ahead.
Right. So I think everyone was of the opinion that you are smart, you are decently good in academics, take sciences.
Yeah.
So I decided not to take sciences. I felt no, I don't want to follow the crowd. But another reason was that uh, like when I used to come home from school, the first thing I used to do was say open up my TV and watch Shark Tank. So I think strategy, thinking on such abstract terms, I think all of this was appealing to me. I read some business books as well. So business, economics, all of this kind of interested me. But up until say 11th grade, I had always felt that uh, academics was also something that I wasn't devotedly passionate about. I felt only nerds should actually study. So now there was this. I remember I was in Delhi, and I got a call from one of my teachers, economics teachers, and she said that, "Hey Bhavya, there's going to be this economics Olympiad, and if you clear this test, probably they'll fly you to Russia, so it'll be a good experience. You should try to give this test." And for the first time ever, I thought I haven't even attempted to give Olympiads in the past, but this time I'll try. And I think there are some key learnings that I feel I have derived out of my journey. This is one of them. And this is that we shouldn't erect barriers for ourselves. So, up until that moment, I had always felt that this was something that was beyond my capability. I wasn't smart enough, or I shouldn't even try, right? This time I did try. I think I was very, very fortunate that I got selected. I finished third in India and I represented India. So, I think this was a time where I learned quite a lot. So I was interacting with people from other countries who were going to esteemed universities, who had just got an admission to say Harvard or MIT, and I was talking to them. They were talking in the same way that I was. They were eating the same food. We had similar interests.
Yeah.
We were scoring the same in the economics test. So I felt, why do I feel that I'm not as good as the other person?
Yeah.
I think that was one key learning for me, that never erect barriers for yourself. The second learning that I have derived is things always kind of work out. We are in an environment where we feel stressed, we have to compete, and we get sad at the littlest of things, at small ambitions, but we have to remember that it's a marathon. And I think that is the second learning. And there have been numerous instances as well. So while I was giving that Olympiad, if I would have had, say, 5 ranks more, uh, I've I would have won a medal and got a scholarship in some foreign university, but that didn't happen, right? And I was like,
Mm.
I let it go. I was regretting things.
Mm.
But now I think this may be a hindsight bias, but now I look back at my journey and I feel, oh, thank God. Otherwise, I would have uh, forced my parents to let me go, and I wouldn't have experienced what all experienced in the in the past. So, yep, that was the second interesting milestone for me. And the third one was my college journey. So, again, the college that I graduated from, I hadn't heard of it. I felt that I hadn't heard of it. I wasn't considering it seriously. But then I came across a news article. There, I read that 5 students from India won against working professionals at Harvard Global Case Competition.
Yeah.
So I read the whole article, and these 5 students were from this particular college, Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies. So I made a mental note of this. I still wasn't very excited about the college, but I was kind of impressed that how were these students able to do this? How
Yeah.
did they do it? So now come grade 12th, um, I study for my boards. Unfortunately, miss out on my target colleges, and then kind of lost. But I remember that article I had read, that
Yeah.
this was one good college I could still go to and probably make something for myself. So there was an interest test. I gave it. Fortunately, got through. And the first thing I did, and was again read those business strategy books. So I was back in this domain, and it in the past 3 years, I would say it has been a very lovely experience. So I discovered that domain of case competitions and consulting, and I think that really has been a very important part of my journey. So through these case competitions, I think I won approximately 5 to 6 lakhs. My parents didn't have to spend anything on my college education because I everything was done through the case competitions only. And
Wow, that is that is amazing actually. I've never heard anyone say that I won so much. There's one young guy who's a startup guy. He says, "Yeah, my startup earnings are paying." But you are the first person who has won so many case competitions. I think you should tell, the young people, write something on how to do it. But let's go ahead.
right, sir. So now, after say 2 years, I'm in my final year. I'm going to graduate in a year or so. I kind of realize I don't really want to do competitions anymore. Uh, so you reach a point of saturation where you feel that you want something more challenging. Even though
Yeah,
it has been a very fruitful part of my journey, I felt that I needed to do something more.
yeah,
And like you mentioned, I wanted to do exactly that.
yeah,
So 3 of us, a couple of my friends, and all of us decided that we'll do something of the sort. So our idea basically was that we'll take sessions, and we'll raise donations through these sessions, and we'll donate all this money to an NGO, right? So we started Project Bridgeway,
yeah,
and we named it Bridgeway because we wanted to say create a bridge uh, between, say, the corporate and the student. and also a bridge. Also, we wanted to connect people to causes they can care about.
Yeah.
So that is what we started. We approximately raised, I think, 20,000 rupees through a couple of sessions. But then we felt that this isn't scalable enough, and we are making very slow progress. Plus, our jobs will be starting soon, so we won't be able to actively do this. So I wrote a guidebook. One of my friends is writing a guidebook on PPT. I wrote it on consulting, and approximately, I think, 60-70,000 we have raised through this venture. Now we'll see whether we can carry it forward or not. Uh, we'll have to find of new ways to give to the community, and new ways to actually give to the community in terms of donations and in terms of content or value. So that is, I would say, the fourth milestone I think we have covered. And now we'll talk about the final part of this journey, which has been, say, uh, the past 12 months. Now, I think, so you must have talked to people and you must have noticed that in India, uh, the job market isn't very strong right now. So what essentially happened with the graduating batch of 2023 for most of the jobs was that our jobs were delayed.
Yes.
So I had about 6 to 7 months. Uh, and for me, I never had decided. I had actually decided that I don't want to do my masters right away. So now I for most of the people were cribbing. They were feeling that they had been let down by the company, and they were kind of lost or confused. I was in a similar position, but I thought that this was kind of a blessing for me, because again, being an avid reader, I had read about Phil Knight, about Steve Jobs. Now Phil Knight, he decided that I'll journey the world to discover who I am, what I want to do.
Mhm.
Similarly, Steve Jobs also visited India, backpacked across India. So I decided that I won't visit places, I won't uh, try to roam the world or tour the world. But what I would alternatively do is try to discover what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I think that also, again, drives home that point that look at everything as a blessing.
Yeah.
So during these past 6 months, I have tried to explore domains which would interest me. I think I was confused between three domains. One was venture capital, the other was public policy, the World Banks, the Clinton Hill Foundations of the sort, and third is consulting. So I've tick marked on a venture capital internship. I've worked with Clinton Health Access Initiative. Uh, Yesterday only that internship ended. Now I'll be joining Bain, so I'll be in a much better position to actually choose what I want to do. So that's pretty much about my journey. Uh, yep.
It's a remarkable journey. It's quite a remarkable journey. Hang on, let me shut off this phone. Let me just take it. Let me put you on pause, okay? I'll take this call. So we are back after the brief pause. Bhavya says he has nearly finished, but I'll ask him, what kind of tips do you have for young people?
Right, sir. I think a couple. First would be to find something that really interests you, excites you. Uh, Find something that A, lies in your area of competence, but also which interests you, and where you believe that you're actually creating an impact. And impact can be defined in multiple ways. And in everything you do, from, I think, the experiences I've had in terms of the social sector, in terms of venture capital, or all the internships that I've done, impact can be done in, I think, almost any domain. Just find which impact you like and how do you define them. So I think that would be one. Second would be second advice, I think, would be to remember that it's a marathon. uh, and we must strive for something, but only striving shouldn't become our personality. And we should try to move towards something, but shouldn't be disappointed if that doesn't pan out. So I think these two. And the third one, I think, which was echoed by my journey as well, don't erect barriers for yourself. If you
Yeah.
believe that you can do it, you can actually do it.
Yeah, okay. It's very good. It's a very optimistic view of the world. And I'm glad that you are optimistic. It's nice to see young people so optimistic and smiling at the same time that, look, it's going to happen. All right, wonderful. And when do you think you will know your own future?
uh, my own future as in,
You'll settle down on something by what age? 50, 60? When will you settle down? Because you're saying I'm exploring options. So when do you think you'll stop exploring?
I think that's a very interesting question. um, I think for the immediate future, let's say for the next 2 or 3 years, I'll not for the next 2 or 3 years. I think for the next 5 years, I'll know what will interest me. I think the world is changing so fast
Yeah.
that new things will come up, old things will become obsolete, and I'll have to again think whether what I'm doing is my area of competence, whether it does interest me, and whether it's creating an impact. So I think that is something that will that cycle will have to repeat itself. But for this cycle of say the next 5 years, I'll know pretty soon after I have had a stab at consulting whether this is something I want to do in the next 4 to 5 years, or the other two experiences I had
Okay.
are they the ones that I would like to explore.
Wonderful. Okay, let's end it here. Let's say bye to the viewers. Maybe we'll catch up with you in 2 or 3 years to see what you have decided. So bye everybody. Let's end it here. And I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye everybody.